how to do basic video editing inside Camtasia. Hello, I'm Sarah Cordner. I'm a qualified course creation specialist and I help you create your own online courses and build an online education-based business, particularly using video. This tutorial is all about how to use the Camtasia video recording and video editing software to make wonderful videos. I'm going to take you through the absolute basics in today's session. Now, when you log into Camtasia, and if you want a free trial on the Camtasia platform, you can click on sarahcordner.com/Camtasia, and you will be brought to your working dashboard, which will look very similar to this, except you will have nothing in your media bank. Now, media is the first area we need to get used to. Whatever you put in here are going to be the tools, the resources that you're going to work with inside your video editing area. This might be videos you've recorded on your phone. It could be videos you've recorded on your webcam. It could be images that you're going to have popping up. It could be audio files, lots and lots of different types of media that you can pull in to your video. We're going to do some demos today. I've got a little demo with a bit of green screen. In fact, I'll just get rid of some of those. So to actually have got them inside my media area in the first place, I actually need to press the add button over here and press import media. And then it will take you to your downloads area or to your computer files, where you can obviously pull them over from your mobile phone, or if you've already got them saved onto your computer dashboard somewhere. So I'm just going to pull over some videos for us now to play with. So I've just pulled over a video that's from my phone, so I'm going to just demonstrate editing a phone video first of all. Now, what we will see here is that I have a phone-shaped video and my background is not a phone-shaped video, it's a full landscape video. So the first thing you're going to want to do is decide what is the final end result you want in terms of sizing. Are you going for a portrait phone-sized video, or do you want something landscape? Quick tip, if you're doing an online course or a longer YouTube video, I'd recommend that you pick the size that we currently have here at the moment. That's usually 1920 by 1080. And if you are doing more sort of social media type posts, TikToks, Reels, stories, things like that, you're going to want it to be phone-shaped. Now, I am going to just go along with the phone-sized one for now. So to change this, where you have your percentage size at the top of the screen, click on project settings, and this is where you'll be able to press the drop down area for canvas dimensions and actually choose some of the default sizing settings here. So you can have a little scroll through and see what those sizes look like. However, if you don't have the sizing here that you actually want your video to be, then you're going to need to click on either custom right here. I'm going to say either, you do have to go to custom, and basically you're going to flip this around. So this usually, oh sorry about my dog, I knew that was going to happen at some point. And type in 1080 and that's going to be 1920. And now we have ourselves a nice long phone sized video. Boom, right there. Okay, now go and check out the dimensions of the platform that you're planning to actually put this on, just to make sure that that is going to be the correct size. Okay, because I'm just pulling out one size that I'm going to be using. Your dimensions that you need to use might be different. Okay, so the best way to actually go and do that is to just go onto onto Google and type in video dimensions for TikTok, or video dimensions for Facebook ad, or whatever it is that you're going to be putting this on. But that is how you change the sizing of the dimensions of the final video. And then you're going to have to make sure that your video content goes all the way to the edges. If I don't, then when I produce this video, it's going to have just a black ring around the outside, and that don't look very pretty, right? So I'm going to drag it all the way to the edges, and now when we produce the video will go all the way to the sides of the video. Now at the moment, our little working area down the bottom here, this is where we're going to be adding, cutting and playing with all of our content down on this bottom area here. Now that looks really small, it's really fiddly, so I like to just press on this little microphone, I always call that a microphone, magnifying glass, and just make this a bit bigger so that we can kind of start to see all of our audio gaps, because I find when I have forgotten what I'm going to say, if I've made a mistake, I usually leave an audio gap, and that tells me that a new bit begins, a new bit ends, or I made a mistake just before the audio gap that I'll need to go and clear up later. Highly recommend that you bear that in mind when it comes to doing your video recording. Leave a gap when you make a mistake. If you mess up somewhere, don't restart the whole video again, because then you've got millions of pieces of video you've got to try and piece together. I just stop, pause, and then continue from wherever it was that I started talking from before. And the reason why is because I can simply now cut out, let's say this bit of audio here was a mistake, I can just cut that bit of audio out and start the video from that point. So this is why it's so much easier to just keep the video rolling, keep that record button on, and just carry on filming, because you can clear out all the mistakes in this phase. Now, in this particular phase, I often like to start my video with what the video is, so that when I come to edit, I know what I'm editing. As an example, let's go.
Later, so this is video number 127, do you need an audience before? All right, so here we go.
So I said, this is video number 127, blah, 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 whatever it is going to be about. Now you can see I left a nice gap and a pause, and then boom, I went into talking. By the way, it doesn't matter whether it's on track 1, 2, or 3 over here, unless we are worrying about green screen. So I just keep mine in the middle because it's easier. So we're going to move our cursor right the way up to the beginning of our video. And there's a couple of ways that we can start this from the beginning. Either method number 1, I can press split and then just quite simply delete this whole section. If I press undo, all right, the other method I can use to make the video start there is to click on the video and simply drag it all the way to where I want this video to begin. And it's going to start from there. Nice and easy, right? Now we've got to make sure that we remember to drag the working video all the way to the edge so that we don't have a big gap before the video starts. We have to keep always dragging it and making sure that the beginning of our video touches this left-hand side. So now if I press play.
Do you need an audience before you sell your product, or do you need to have a product to sell before you build an audience?
Right, so what I might want to do there, let's pretend I want to have kind of a bit of pop-up text that's going to come up somewhere to put my question in front of my audience. What I can do is go over to our annotations and drag these are all, wait, let me, before I do that, actually, there's all these different types of annotations that you could have. But if I liked this one, for instance, I can drag that down and I can make this annotation basically pop up for whatever duration I want it to be up on the screen for. So if I only wanted that to show for a few seconds, press play.
This, my friends, is the...
Okay, it would stop. If I wanted that to carry on,
age-old chicken and egg question that often comes.
All right, so this is really, really easy to make this pop up wherever you want it to pop up by just moving it to the place, and last for the duration that you want it to last by just moving it around. When you click on this, over on the right hand side, you have the editing area to come up, where first of all, you've got your text editing for that pop up. So you're always clicking on the thing that you want to work with, and your editing area will come up here. You've got your text for that pop up, and you've got your box for that pop-up. So text and box over here. So the text, you can change the fonts, the colors, the sizes, all that fun stuff. And on the box area, that's where I could change the color to whatever I wanted the color to be as well. All right, that's just one of the call out options. You might just have like a plain box that looks like that. If you don't like that, you've got you know, text, arrows. Again, you can change the fonts, you can change all of the colors as well. But here we go. I want mine to kind of come up here. And last until
this, my friend.
This, my friends. So I always use the audio to see when I went this. I know where my little marks are. Now, if you want to just keep your place, you can actually just split them. It doesn't do anything, right? But now I know where I need my annotation to go. So I'm going to grab an annotation that I want. I'm going to drag it down, and I want it to start maybe just after I start speaking.
Do you need an...
Cool, yeah, so I want it there, and I want it to last all the way until I say, this, my friends, is the age-old question. Now what you do, make sure you're clicked on your call out, move it up to, or down, or wherever you want it to be. Okay, so maybe I want it there. I'll just see what this looks like. Now I double click on it, and then you can just start typing. Should you have an audience first or product first? So I had a little visit from my daughter then. I don't know if any of you heard her in the background going, "Mummy." All right, so now I have put my text in that I want. And now what we can do, highlight your text. It has to be highlighted for you to actually make the edits to the text. So I'm going to go in to my text area on the right-hand side here. And then you can go down and scroll the font that you actually want to have. So I'm just going to go down and scroll the font I usually pick for my business. O-P. Sing my ABC. All right, you can choose the sizing over here by making that as big or as small as you want. All right, so you can pull that along. You can also, actually, I don't really like how humongi that has become. All right. Then you can change the background. So if I wanted to change that background color, I click on the annotations over here and I could basically pick any color I wanted. I'm going to keep it white because I think it just stands out nice and bright over there. So now I can just see how that's going to look. Ready?
Do you need an audience before you sell your product, or do you need to have a product to sell before you build an audience?
Okay, so that's how you can add in a pop-up. Now again, just like the rest of the video here, if I wanted to add in any more pop-ups, I simply go over here, click on annotations and just drag and drop. If I wanted to actually keep that formatting, so let's pretend I wanted to actually put another annotation right here, for instance, you can actually click on the one you've already created, press copy and paste. So I just did Control-C, Control-V, and you'll see here, it pops up there. If you're using a Mac, that would be Command-C, Command-V. And now I've got the same formatting, so I don't have to change the font again. You know, and I could just put whatever change the font to whatever I wanted, you know, by the thing. Woo! Right, that might be the pop-up I wanted to put there, but all the formatting's already done. I'm not gonna have to go back and change the font. So that's actually a smart way, just copying and pasting, edit the first call out and copy and paste it throughout your file. Now again, I'd continue to go through and cut out any things that we have going on here. So why have I made a funny face here? Let's go and have a look at what we've got.
Saying, do not start selling your product until you have an audience.
Okay, now I like to, when I make funny faces, I like to kind of zoom in on my face. So I'm going to put my cursor at the bit where I want to really zoom in. Now there are a number of different ways of doing this. There's no one way of doing anything. Other people will say there's easier ways to zoom in, you know, and there are other ways to zoom in. I want to point that out. But what I like to do is chop up all my pieces. So I'm just going to press the little split tool over here to cut those two pieces. And then I go, ah, all right. Okay, I want to, and then I'm going to move my cursor to the bit where I want it to stop. I'm going to press the split tool again, and you see now here I've got this little separate section. So I'm going to click on that separate section, and this means the bit that's yellow, this is the only bit that my resizing is going to affect. If I didn't split this, then the whole video would be resized, the whole entire thing. I don't want that. I only want that tiny bit there to be affected by this resizing. All I've got to do then is go whoop, all right, and I'm just going to zoom right in on my face, right there like that. Ta-da. Okay, so now look what happens.
An audience. My friend.
Okay, so I need to have to play with the mouth bit a little bit. So I am going to just cut that because I want it to drag and drop.
Audience. My friend.
Cool. And now again, there was a little bit where I breathe in, and if we go in and zoom in using our little zoom thing over here, if I go down here, you can see there's a really big gap before I start speaking because I breathe in there and it doesn't sound very nice. Like, watch this. Watch the sound gap. Okay, I don't want that breath, so I'm just going to go like that and cut that bit. So now it looks a bit better.
My friends.
So I'd go through now and I would cut out any sections that I don't want, and I would zoom in on some of the areas where I speak for quite a long time and I want the audio to be a little bit more, the visual to be a little bit more interesting. So what I could do here is maybe highlight a part where I want to zoom in.
Do you need an audience before you sell your product, or do you need to have a product to sell before you build?
What I might do over here is just kind of make the visual a little bit more interesting. This video I'm talking in the same place, at the same sort of distance from the camera the whole time. So when I flip to this second section over here, I'm going to make it a little bit more interesting by just zooming in on my face.
This, my friends, is the age-old.
So I might just say this, my friends. And you always know where to do it again by looking at the audio.
My friends is...
Okay, so my friends, I finished right there. I'm going to take it to the part where I want the zoom in to end, use my split tool. So now this little section here is going to be the only bit that's affected by me zooming in. So I'm going to just go up, zoom in, pull that in. So now here, let's see what happens.
An audience. This, my friends, is the age-old chicken and egg question.
So you can see there how it just gives that tiny little second, it keeps the eye more interested in the video, it just increases people's attention onto the video, and you can go through and just use that cut tool and use that zoom in to make your video more interesting. So that's one more little tip and trick that you can use on here. Now if I wanted to have, I don't know, an image pop up or something inside our video as it's going along here, we can click on media. Now let's pretend, I don't know, I wanted to sell a product or a book or something like that. I press on add and add media. I'm just going to go into my computer and pull over a picture of a book. 1 second. I know you can't see that right now, just bear with me. And it's going to pull over an image of my book. So let's say maybe at this point here, I start talking about my book that I have. I might want that to pop up on the screen. So I've added my book to my media library. I'm going to click on media. I'm going to drag it and I'm going to drop it to the point at which I want that book to pop up. And again, we can just resize it. So if I didn't want it to be like that big, I can just resize it there. Boo, ba, boo, ba, boo, ba, boo, ba, boo, talk, 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 talk. Let's pretend I only want it to stay that long. All I have to do is drag the book image to stop at that point there. So let's pretend I'm talking about selling my book.
Can I saw somebody literally give some advice to somebody?
Disappear. Okay, cool. So that is how we'd add a little image. Now, if we wanted to add a music file, exactly the same as adding any other file, I will bring up my screen for you on this side. So let's just press add. So we're in our media library section, press plus, import media. I'm going to bring this over so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go to my, not videos, I'm going to go to music and stock files. Let's just bring in a little lullaby. Got some stock music over here. So you can see now in my media bin over here, I've got my audio file. And wherever I want that audio to commence is where I would drag and drop it to. So it doesn't matter if it goes above or below the videos. I tend to just throw audio files right underneath. That's why I tend to start my main piece on track 2. But if I wanted that audio to start right at the beginning of my video, I drag it all the way to the end. If I wanted the audio to start here, you just drag it to wherever you want it to begin. So let's now show you what that sounds like.
Do you need an audience before you sell your product, or do you need to have a...
Boom, we've now got music in our file too. Now let's see where our music ends, because sometimes what happens, okay, so luckily that music goes all the way to the end of the video. What we need to do is make sure that the end of our audio matches the end of our video so that they finish at the same time. Okay, that's really important. But let's pretend our audio is too short. Let's pretend that our audio is actually only that long. We've still got video left. One of the things I do is I click on the audio, I press copy and paste, so Control C, Control V, and then simply pull it down to wherever you want that audio to continue from. So ideally, you're going to want it to continue from a sort of roughly this, you need it to end obviously at the end. So what I tend to do is drag it to the end and then stop it at the point at which the last one finished. Boom. All right, so you're just copying and pasting it, you're looping it, as they say in the tech terms. And there we go, so we've now added music into our audio. And look, really guys, the rest of editing your audio, your videos is very much just copy and paste, repeat. You know, you're going to be cutting out sections using your split tool. You're going to be zooming into sections to make it more interesting by using in your zooming in feature over here. And if you do want to have a little play around with the audio, click on your video, you can go to audio effects over here, and you can actually add in and fade out to your music files. It's nice to have the beginning and the end of your audio files. And you can also, for instance, just add in noise removal. So perhaps I should apply that to this current dog barking video. If I wanted to add noise removal to this file, I could just drag that down. What that basically tends to do is stops all the really high and really low sound bars inside your audio and keeps it more at an even tone all the way through. It does very mildly remove the sort of background noise. It's not amazing, but it can help if you've got a bit of background noise going on, like a lot of background noise I've had going on in this video. It's probably not going to do a great deal for that. But that's one of the things that you can try, see if it sounds good, and if you don't like it, you can remove it. So for instance, let's actually have a listen.
But first of all, building an audience all of the time. You need to start.
Okay, now if I add the noise removal, let's listen to what happens now. Now, by the way, over the right hand side here, this is where you can actually change the sensitivity to the background noise and how much you add or remove. So let's listen to the sound again.
Building an audience yesterday, and the audience.
So that sounds a little bit odd to me, okay? So we might need to increase that.
Never ever.
Might need to reduce it. So you can have a play and see what it does, okay?
That keeps on going forever and ever.
All right, so you can see here, there's all different things that it can do. I'd be playing around with these until I got it right. And if I wasn't happy with it at all, you just press back, 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 until the noise removal has been taken away. You can even just go to properties over here. Oops, properties are showing up, and remove that entirely, okay? There it is, noise removal, cancel. Now the noise removal has been removed by cancelling it from over there. And that's pretty much the main features. The other thing I will just mention before I end this tutorial here are things like your transitions. Now, what transitions means is what happens when something appears or disappears. So for instance here, we've got this book image. I'm just going to make it bigger so you can see what happens. We've got this image that pops up, and at the moment it just pops up. But we could make that pop up in much more interesting ways using transitions. So if I click on transitions, you can see here there's a number of different effects that we could use to pull that transition, to pull that image in basically. And you can play with this, right? So for instance, here's slide left. It shows you what that will look like if you use it. So for example, let's drag and drop, and then you add it to the item that you want to apply that effect to. In this case, we want to apply that effect to our book file over here, okay, or a little image that we use. So this is what happens now. Let's have a look.
Scrolling through Facebook, and I saw somebody literally give some advice.
So you see here that swiped in that time. If we don't want to use that, we can basically get rid of it, press back, and it's gone. Oh no, it's not gone. Why can't I remove that? Undo. Okay, cool. So I tend to just press undo until it disappears. I don't know why I couldn't find the X over here. Usually there's an X there. Anyway, it's not there. We just press back instead. Let's go glow, for instance. If that looks nice, we just drag that to the beginning of our video. And you can change how much glow happens by this thing here as well. So if I am to, let's just show you what this looks like.
And I saw somebody literally give.
If I wanted that glow to kind of glow in longer, I just drag that over. Watch now.
And I saw somebody literally give some advice.
Much more slowly, yeah? So if I didn't want that, I could just press get rid of transition. There was my cross that time. We could do, I don't know, let's see what else. Dissolve. So I could make a dissolve on the way in. Let's see what that does.
Facebook, and I saw somebody
all right, if I wanted it to last longer, I can pull that out.
Saw somebody literally.
It's like my sound effects. Now I can add a glow out at the end if I wanted to by adding that to the end. So now it dissolves in and glows out.
I saw somebody literally give some advice to somebody.
All right, so you can see there how you can get rid of those transitions. So click on the transition and then I can cross it out over there. You can play around with all of these to your heart's content. So once I was happy with my full edited video, I've added in my music, I've added in all my little transitions, I then need to obviously publish my video. So I'm going to press export. I want to export it as a local file because that means it will save on my computer. I like to choose either MP4 only or MP4 Smart Player, but always the 1080p, okay? I tend to just go for the standard MP4, 1080p. This is important. This means it's the highest quality available. If you go for the 480, it's actually going to be really low quality. It will make your video very blurry, quite pixelated and not very clear. So using the 1080 is going to give you a really nice crystal clear production. Then of course give it a name. So I'm going to call this video YouTube 2023 how to use Camtasia to edit videos. New. All right, and then I'm going to press finish. And that will now make the video begin to load. Simple as that.